So welcome to the session, everyone. Thank you for making time to join me to learn about digital marketing. Today's session is an introduction. And what we're going to be covering is, this is the ambitious plan for today. So we're going to be looking at what is digital marketing. We'll explore some digital marketing channels. We will look at a few of these strategies. Of course, given the time that we have together, I don't have time to cover everything. But we will also be spending some time looking at AI and marketing. So the big buzzword of this 2023 has been AI, ChatGPT. I'm sure you've all heard it. You might not have seen it in action. So later on today, I will be sharing with you tools to create content for your articles, for your social media, and also how do you use some of these tools to create the images that will go with your articles, with your emails, with your social media. And at the end of it, we'll do a very simple quiz. So the quiz only has 8 questions. True or false is MCQ, so don't worry. It is for us just to get an understanding of the knowledge you gain from the session, and also to ensure that the name we print on your certificate is exactly the name that you would like to have printed on your certificate. Quick introduction of Equinet Academy. So Equinet Academy has been around for a good 10 plus years. All of our sessions going forward, we are going to be recording these live classes. And as a student of our class, you will be able to access the recorded session that you attended. You are also allowed to re-attend the classes every once in 3 years. So in the 3 years since you took the course, you can actually come and re-attend it. And you'll be able to access the courseware via our learning management system. And one thing that we have, which is different from other training organizations, is that we have lifetime access to a community support group. So what we have is on LinkedIn and on Facebook, we have a group. Whenever you face difficulties after taking one of our courses, you can doesn't need to be.
没有进去，没有 slot。
没有错了。
So none of these, every question is welcome. So later, if I have time, I'll show you how this looks like. I mean, earlier this morning, someone asked a question and one of our trainers already gave a very detailed response. So this is the benefits of learning at Equinet. And now I'll give you a quick introduction of myself. So my name is Razi. I run a digital marketing agency here in Singapore. I've been running it for the last 11 years in Singapore. And for the past 3 years, we also have a presence in Malaysia. So I've been doing it for 11 years. At Equinet, I train the Digital Marketing Essentials course, and I also train the email marketing course. Why it's important for you to know who you're learning from today is so that you can ask me the questions. You can ask me all kinds of questions. I have done various different aspects of digital marketing over the last 11 years. And when I'm not running an agency, when I'm not training at Equinet, I do judge some awards. So earlier this year, I was a judge at a social media marketing award. So I looked at all of the different entries from around Asia to see who did very well in terms of social media marketing. So I do have a fair amount of experience, and I'd love to share some of these with you today. For my agency itself, like I mentioned, it's been around for 11 years. We have a team of more than 30 specialists. We do a lot of regional digital marketing. What this means, right? We have a client, maybe they're based in Singapore, but they want to target, say, 5 markets in Southeast Asia. Maybe they want sales, or maybe they want leads. So we actually do the campaigns for them so that we can help them achieve leads in those 5 markets that they're looking for. Anyone has any questions? So if you have questions later on, just type them in the chat. If I don't see them on the chat, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question. And what I'll try to do is every hour or every hour and a half, I'll try and give you a 10-minute break so that you can take a break from the screen, go get yourself a cup of coffee, and then we can continue. So give me about an hour, and then we'll take our first short break. Okay, if there are no questions, let's get started. So what is digital marketing? So for those of you who have absolutely no experience and this is new for you. There's a lightning. What is digital marketing? Okay. There's some thunder that is raining very heavily where I am. So digital marketing, right, is marketing products, marketing services using digital technology. So what is digital technology? These are things like your using your internet, using social media, and any other digital medium, right? And this would encompass things like social media, search engine optimization, email marketing. So later on, I will share with you what each one of these means. See, the thing about digital marketing, right, is the reason why businesses love it. And during the pandemic, more and more businesses started to look at digital marketing is because you can get very clear engagement. You can get very good results with a small budget. You know, you don't need to. So earlier this month, a client of mine wanted to take a newspaper ad in the Straits Times, right? And can anyone guess how much it costs to get a one-page color ad on the Straits Times? Anybody would like to guess? Let me know in the chat. How much do you think a one-page color ad in the Straits Times costs? Thousands of dollars. Joanne and Vivian are the closest. It's about $30,000 to get Jeremy. 50K would be actually the weekend. So if you get it on a Saturday or a Sunday, the price is higher. On a weekday, is about what Joanne and Vivian are guessing. So imagine, right? You get a full page color ad in the Straits Times. You get printed, it looks very nice. But then you don't know who saw the ad. You don't know whether or not your target customer saw your ad. And at $25,000, right, for a small business, that could be your marketing budget for the entire year. It could be your marketing budget for half the year. And you don't know what kind of result and how it impacted your business. So which is why increasingly marketing has become accessible to small business owners with a small budget of a few hundred, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. You can actually get your product, get your service in front of your target customer, and you can start getting sales, you can start getting leads. So you can get better engagement and better results when you do digital marketing. And I mean, if you look at post-pandemic, we just take the train, take the MRT every day to work, you can see everybody's on their phone. I know either they're scrolling TikTok or they're scrolling Instagram or they're watching YouTube. So your customer, your target audience, they are spending more time online. They are spending a lot of time on social media. So because people are spending so much time there, we should, of course, reach to them digitally, market to them digitally. So this is a screenshot from a very useful report. So let me just share the report link in the chat. Just give me a second. So I'm going to, as we go along, I'm going to be sharing some useful URLs, and I would like you to make note of them. So this particular screenshot that I was sharing with you is from a report called the Digital Singapore Report. There you go, it's there in the chat. So later on, when you have time, go through this, scroll right to the bottom of the page. And when you get to the bottom of the page, you will find about 140, 120 slides on the digital marketing, on the digital landscape in Singapore. 126 slides. So I've given you the chat, given you the link in the chat. Okay. So if you go into that document, it has this kind of very useful information. So look at the amount of time people in Singapore spend using the internet every day. Almost 7 hours. How much time do they spend on social media? 2 hours, 13 minutes every day. How much time do they spend watching streaming content and broadcast content? 2 hours, 45 minutes, right? And if you look at how do internet users in Singapore between the ages of 16 to 64, how do they discover a new brand? So earlier someone mentioned, let me just go up to my chat. Earlier, Cindelia mentioned that she manages a language agency. So if she wants people to know about her language agency, you see in Singapore, what is the number one source of brand discovery? Can you type in the chat what is the number one source of brand discovery in Singapore? You guys can see my screen, search engine. Thank you, Jeremy. So search engines, thank you, Yvonne. So search engines are the number one source of brand discovery. And for those of you who are interested, right, you can actually see this same report, say for Indonesia or the Philippines. And what you will see in Indonesia, I think in the Philippines, is for the source of brand discovery, the number one source is actually a TV ad, right? So different markets, they have different behaviors. In Singapore, search engines are super important. So you definitely need to appear in Google search. Later, we'll cover some elements about Google search, SEO and SEM. Then you see number two is word of mouth from friends and family, right? And then number three is like what Wing Hong is saying, which is retail websites like Amazon and Shopee. So these are important things for you to be aware of so that when you do digital marketing, you know which channels to focus on. Should you do an ad on Google search? Should you do SEO? Should you do an ad on social media? So you see there's the number 5 source of brand discovery. So this particular site is important for your awareness. So now that we know why digital marketing is important, we know how people are behaving when it comes to their digital consumption in Singapore. We are going to be looking at what are the different channels that we can use for digital marketing, right? And when we think about digital marketing, for any one of you who is a business owner or you're interested in starting a business, in fact, a lot of people who come to my class, they have a job, but they're thinking of starting a business on the side, right? And when you think about digital marketing's role in your business, it can get your business in front of an international audience. You know, it can help you get your business in front of people in ways that traditional marketing cannot, and it helps you stay competitive. There's a few examples that later I will share with you. Just remind me if I forget to share with you. So one really good example, which we will look at later on, is a cheesecake brand from Singapore called Papach. It's a burnt cheesecake brand that was very popular and it's still very popular. He used social media marketing to create a lot of excitement about his burnt cheesecake. And this is a one-man show, and he did it very impressively. So we can discuss his example later. Another one of my favorite examples is this guy, Dr. Tristan Pei. So Dr. Tristan Pei is a dentist in Singapore. Of course, all of these are Singapore examples. He has used TikTok very well. Can you want to guess how many followers Dr. Tristan Pei, a Singapore dentist, has on his TikTok? Then we'll go into our channels. Anyone want to guess? How many followers do you think he has? Vivian says 100,000. Higher, you must go higher. Go higher. Anyone else would like to guess? 1 million. Okay, Ming, that's Jeremy says 500,000. Higher, Jeremy. Higher than what Ming has said. 1.5. So when I last checked, thank you, Vivian. When I last checked, right, he has 3.1 million followers on TikTok. Can you imagine? He is just a Singapore dentist, looks like an uncle, but he is doing so well on TikTok. Because normally we think that TikTok, you need to be young, you need to be good with dancing or being very funny, then you will become successful. But later we will see his example when we look at social media marketing. So now we know what is digital marketing. We know why it's important. Next, we're going to be looking at introduction to digital marketing channels. So when we look at digital marketing, right, there is Google, there is YouTube, there is TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. There's even, I mean, for those of us who are looking at the China market, there's WeChat, there's Baidu, there is Xiaohongshu. There's so many things that are there, right? But what I'd like you to focus on is, again, we go back to data, we go back to statistics, and we see what is popular with our audience in Singapore. So this assumption is you are all going to look at marketing to a Singapore audience. So if we look at that same report, what you will see is that in Singapore, the top 5 most popular websites are Google, then comes YouTube, then Facebook. Surprisingly, Twitter is got a lot of traffic in Singapore, no? And then there's Instagram. You see, Channel News Asia is number 10. Straits Times is number 12, right? So Karen wants to market to SME business owners and HR professionals. Are they in Singapore or regionally, Karen, or globally?
Only in Singapore market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you currently doing any marketing to reach this SME business owners and HR professionals?
I believe my colleague is doing some free posting on our Facebook business page. And then some of my colleagues, on if they want to, they post on their own LinkedIn profile.
Right. So later on, let me just make a note here. So
Okay,
later,
sure.
I'm going to show you, hopefully we have time.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how you could possibly reach out to these SME business owners using LinkedIn.
Yep.
And I'll show you how I do it. So then
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm making a note. If I forget, just remind me later on, Karen.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so coming back to this, why this slide is important is because I'm going to show you what are the digital marketing channels that we should be focusing on as marketers, as future marketers, as business owners, if we're targeting a Singapore audience. So you see the number one website is Google, then is YouTube, which is why when we go to YouTube these days, right, in Singapore, we see so many ads. Nowadays, we have to see 2 ads before we get to our content. So the first digital marketing channel that I like to share with you is your website. This is still a very important digital marketing channel because your website, right, it is there 24/7. Think of it like a salesman who is there 24/7, who explains about your business, why people should trust your business, why your business is credible, and how they can engage with your business. So if you look at the Equinet website, you will see that you can sign up for a course, you can download ebooks. Essentially, when you go to the website, you see all of these logos, you see our corporate clients. It makes you trust that Equinet will give you a good training program and that Equinet has good trainers. So there are a lot of websites there are millions and billions of websites out there. Most websites are actually powered by WordPress. So WordPress is a content management system. So you can build your website on WordPress. So what this means is that you don't require any coding experience. And we actually have a workshop on WordPress, which teaches you how to set up your website using WordPress, how to make updates, how to publish content. And starting point for everything, the most important digital marketing channel, at least in my opinion, is a website. Again, it depends on the kind of business that you run. Earlier this morning, I was speaking to a charity in Malaysia, and what they do is they feed the poor who live on the streets, and they only have Facebook and Instagram because they use Facebook and Instagram to showcase some of their efforts. So depending on the kind of business you are, the kind of organization you are, the digital marketing channels will be different. But always, for most businesses, I always recommend that you need to have a website, right? Thank you for sharing, Jeremy. Maybe you can share your website, your charity's link in the chat so that we can all check it out later. Or if you'd like, maybe I can give you some feedback on it later if there's time. So charity, so please share the URL, Jeremy, if you can. Thank you. So later on, we will take a look. So I believe if you click on Jeremy's link, right, on Caritas, what you'll probably see is that you can donate, you can volunteer, or you can maybe sign up for his newsletter to know what's happening with Caritas. Okay. So website is important. The next thing is SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. What does this mean? So let me show you something by going to Google search. Okay, so let's say we go to Google search, right? Maybe I want Maybe I want a facelift. So I go to Google search and I search for facelift Singapore. Okay, maybe let's make it, let's use another example. Maybe I want braces. So I search for braces Singapore. Okay, so when I search for braces Singapore, this is what shows up, right? So if you see the first link that shows up is NTUC, affordable braces in Singapore. Then as you keep scrolling down, right, what you'll see is there's iDental, there's Q&M, and then you scroll down, you see Casa Dental, My Braces Clinic, No Frills Dental. So one thing that has happened with Google search is there is no more pages. It is now, you just keep scrolling, right? But the thing is, most of us will not keep scrolling, you know, we will probably find what we're looking for earlier in the results. We might just go to Q&M, we might just go to NTUC because that's what showed up first. So then the question is, if let's say I'm Cinderly and I'm running the language business, right? I want my business to appear higher on Google search results. How can my business appear higher on a Google search result? It is through SEO. It's through search engine optimization. How can we optimize our site for Google search? Later on, we will be looking at it in our SEO section, right? So the key thing for you to remember, Karen, can you share your website URL? And then we can take a look.
My website, no, I'm referring to just now your example, right?
Yeah.
So the sponsored ads followed by those maps, right? There's a couple of maps. So
Yes.
those maps, they actually have Google My Business, right? They register the address.
Yes.
Yeah, so it appears on top of SEO.
Is it? Let me see. Let me go to my.
You go back to just now your website. Yeah. The Google, you see? Ads, right? Ads then followed by the map.
No, actually, so see, if you see the ads are the ones with the word sponsored, right?
Yeah. Then you see you scroll down a bit. You scroll down a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
see,
you mean NTUC not
Yeah.
sponsored, huh?
iDental
Oh,
also not sponsored, Q&M not sponsored. So what happens is that the first three are non-sponsored, then comes your Google My Business, like what you're saying, the places.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But you know, even on Google My Business, right, you can
Yeah.
run ads, you know. So like, for example, if I click on this, okay, no, let me just click on the, okay, wait, let me just go to Google Maps. Let me show you guys something, and then we can move. Let's go to Google Maps. So when you go to Google Maps, right, brands can actually pay Google to advertise on Google Maps. So let's say I want to send my, okay, do you see on Google Maps? You see the results. The first one is sponsored.
Wow.
Second one is sponsored also. Let's say I want to send my, let's say I want to send my kid to preschool. Okay, so I search for preschool Singapore, or I search for preschool near me. What will then happen is, do you see what's showing up? It's showing the ad. So Stanford American is paying Google money for an ad whenever someone searches for preschool Singapore. Then come Little Lions Preschool. Then comes all the organic results because I'm in Bedok. So it's showing me all those things that are in Bedok and Tampines. You see, Tampines, Bedok. But then these two, they paid money. So whenever someone searches for preschool, their ad will show up. So you can actually advertise on Google Maps as well. But if you want to do the free way, like what Karen was mentioning, you can create something called Google Business Profile. So it used to be called Google My Business. Now they've renamed it to Google Business Profile. So any business can have it, and you don't really need to. One thing they have changed recently is that you don't need to have a physical address anymore. You can still get a Google My Business, Google Business Profile. And like what Karen is saying, you'll get some organic result. And then based on the person's browsing history, based on their location, your business will be shown to them on Google Business Profile. So for example here, right? My example here is if let's say I was to search for a Japanese restaurant near me, what you will see is all the Japanese restaurants that are near me. And if you're not on Google Business Profile, you will not be recommended to the person making that search, right? So it's important. And one of the quick wins when it comes to getting your SEO in order. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to share with you, let's go back to that same page, is one thing Google has done now is when you search for something, I think I closed that page. Let me open up a new page. So let's say if I was to search again for Preschool Singapore. Okay, just to add to what we were discussing earlier, so for us to appear higher on Google search, we need to do something called SEO, which is optimizing our website with content and different strategies to make sure that our website appears higher on Google search results. Like I was saying, not everybody is going to be scrolling like very deep to find the results. Most of the time when we see these, we'll be happy to just click on one of these and go and find out more information. So SEO will take time. And sometimes as a business, we don't have the luxury of time. We want to get results fast. So we can't be waiting 3 months, 6 months for SEO to give us the results. If we can't wait, we can do something called SEM, which is search engine marketing. So when someone searches for the keyword that you're looking for, you can actually pay Google and then your ad will appear on top. So you see here, when I search for Preschool Singapore, there is this word sponsored. There's this word sponsored. So this means that SAIS is paying Google money whenever someone searches for this keyword so that it can be shown. XWA is paying Google money so that it can be shown. And every click, right? Let's say I click on this ad, it will cost the advertiser about $7. So different industries have a different cost per click. So if let's say I was to run a chiropractor clinic and I was to search for, if I was to run ads for chiropractors, let me just show you how much the cost per click would be. So in the past, it used to be about $18. Okay, now it's come down. So Chiropractor Singapore, if someone was to click on this ad, it will cost the advertiser $6.85, right? Interesting question from Wing Hong, where he's asking, with OpenAI, Bing search engine, emphasis of privacy with DuckDuckGo, would Google search engine dominance be eroded over time? Possibly, but if you look in markets like Singapore, right? In that same report that I showed you earlier, Google Chrome and the Google browser has a 97.2% market share. It will take some time for their share to be eroded. And let me show you something that you will find interesting, because what has happened is Google is aware with the move towards privacy, with OpenAI powered search, that it is going to erode their dominance. So what is happening now, right, is Google and TikTok have a partnership where whenever you go to TikTok and you search, that search will be powered by Google. So I'm going to just share this link with you. So you can see that TikTok is actually looking at partnering with Google. So when you go to your TikTok search, in future, it will be powered by Google. And that addresses that question that Wing Hong has about Google's dominance being eroded. So, you know, TikTok is like the growing social media platform. In fact, I think it might be the number 2 platform in Singapore by the next year's report, looking at the amount of time people are spending on it. So I think this is a good partnership, and it's going to protect them against their loss of dominance. In terms of the extension that I'm using, for those of you who are interested to see how I get these numbers, right? It is an extension called Keyword Surfer. It's a free extension. So you can install it in your Google Chrome browser, and it can tell you what it is, what are the search volumes, and how much it will cost. It's called Keyword Surfer. Okay, so let's move on. So I've shared with you search engine marketing. What this means is you are paying Google to appear on top of search results when your customer searches for what you're looking for. Sorry, when the customer searches for what they are looking for, and definitely what your business is providing. So if you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you will run ads for Braces Singapore, for example, dental crown replacement. If you're an aesthetic surgeon, whenever someone searches for facelift. So the reason why I keep using Facelift Singapore as an example is recently I was working with an aesthetic clinic. So one of the keywords they wanted to advertise for was Facelift Singapore. So when you search for, say, Facelift Singapore, let's say all of us, all 29 of us, we run an aesthetic clinic. We are shareholders in an aesthetic clinic. And we notice that our aesthetic clinic doesn't appear very high on search engines. So what we can do is we can do SEM, search engine marketing. We pay Google money so that our ad will appear when someone searches for the keyword. So let's say I want to only promote facelift. So whenever someone searches for facelift in Singapore, my ad will appear here. And if someone clicks on it, let's see what happens when I click on it. So usually when you click on it, it will bring you to a page which will tell you about the company, and it will ask you for your name, your email address, and your phone number. So what I'll then do is, let's say I'm truly interested in facelift, right? I will actually fill up this form. So what has then happened is someone who is a possible customer now becomes aware of that clinic, of Ozian Zoe Clinic. And if they're truly interested, they can book an appointment. So you have converted a website browser to an appointment for your business. And hopefully when they come for the appointment, you would have made, you can book them for a package, and you'd have made good money on that. Okay, so that was SEM. So like I showed you, for SEM, you can also advertise on Google Maps. You can also advertise on Gmail. And all of this advertising, we actually have a dedicated course, a 2-day course that is just about search advertising. It's hands-on, and that's something you're interested in, you should definitely consider going for that course. The next thing, which is super popular now, is social media marketing. So this is the next this is the next digital marketing channel that has become increasingly important. So brands, doesn't matter if you are a B2B brand, if you're selling valves or you're selling pipes, it doesn't matter if you're a B2C brand selling noodles. All of these brands, B2B, B2C, they are looking at social media, and social media is become very important. And later on, we will look at some really good examples of social media. The other aspect of social media, right? Okay, let's say I have a business and I don't have that many people following my page. Or maybe I have a new business selling, say I'm selling a jewelry. I don't have that many people following my page. What I can do is I can work with something called an influencer marketing marketing agency. So what will then happen is these people who have some following, I can tell them what to do. So for example, if I have a restaurant, I can work with the influencer and say, hey, can you come to my restaurant, buy a coffee, and make a video of your experience in the restaurant? Then I pay them money, and they will create this kind of content for me. So when we use influencers, right, influencers can increase the traffic to our website. They can increase the number of followers we have on our social media, and they can even get they can even get real people to come to your business. So I'll show you an example here. A really good example, or really good platform that you can consider is one called Party Post. I'm going to share the link here in the chat. Okay, so you can consider this platform called Party Post. And what Party Post does is it works with nano influencer. Nano influencer is somebody with about 500 to 1,000 followers. So if you look at, I'll just show you one example. So you can go to all of their case studies. So let's say we started a beauty brand, right? So you can see what they have done to actually create some awareness for these beauty brands. Let's go to FMCG. Let's go to F&B. So I'll leave you to go and explore these case studies on your own. So, for example, right, what you're seeing on my screen is how other brands have used influencers to create awareness about their product. So let's say we have let's say we are Popeyes and we have a promotion going on. We can work with Party Post. They will get their influencers to talk about your promotion, take a picture with your product, and share their experience using your product. So earlier in the year, not earlier in the year, I think 2 years ago, I actually did a campaign for a company called Myojo, which is in the instant noodles space. And they wanted to create awareness of 2 new flavors that they were launching into the market. So what we did was we worked with the influencers so that they can talk about the noodles, talk about the flavor, and they can make a video about it. And it actually really helped push the brand's awareness that they have launched these 2 new flavors. Okay, question for you guys. Look at this person. Does anybody know her? Does anyone follow her? If you're wondering who's the guy here, he is the guy from Squid Game. You see this person is celebrating her birthday. Okay. Okay, if you guys don't follow her, do you think she's real? So, you think she's real? You think she's a real person?
Looks real.
Is that you, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, looks real. Okay. Well, she's not real. She is okay. Let me give you her link, her Instagram, if you're interested. She is something known as a virtual influencer. So let me just Rosie Graham. So she's a Korean virtual influencer, and she has worked with the Singapore Tourism Board. So recently, the Singapore Tourism Board got Rosie to visit Marina Bay Sands. You know, she's a virtual influencer. She's not real. She doesn't exist. But she's been to Marina Bay Sands. She's been to Ion Orchard. So if you go through her Instagram, you will see all the places she's been to. Why is this important? I'm sharing with you about influencer marketing. So a lot of times for influencer marketing, we use real influencers, right? We use real people. But over the past few years, what has become really prominent is something called a virtual influencer, where companies are creating very real life like avatars, and they're using them to promote brands, to promote destinations and whatnot. Can anyone guess why? Why is there a trend moving away from a human, a real influencer to a virtual influencer? Anyone would like to guess?
Because we cannot differentiate between real picture and AI picture.
Okay. That's a good point. But what else? What else in terms of the brand, right? Cheaper cost, possible? Yes, we know cheaper cost. What else? Can change anytime. Okay, what else? If you remember the Joseph Schooling case from last year, DBS was using him. Hugo Boss was using him. And one other brand, I can't remember. But then he got into that case, right? And then all these brands stopped working with him. So one of the reasons why virtual influencers are on the rise is firstly, they don't age, right? There's no negative publicity. Exactly. They won't do anything silly. You know, they're not human, and humans make human mistakes, right? A virtual influencer, because they don't really exist, they won't be making any of these mistakes, and they will never age. You know, a female virtual influencer will forever be in the same age. So later on, when you have time, I highly recommend go watch this ad from BMW. This is about 5 weeks ago now, where they did an ad for the electric car. And the electric car, the person who is in the ad is a virtual influencer by the name of Little Michaela. Little Michaela has 2.7 million followers. Yeah, so virtual influencers are important. So why am I sharing this with you? We looked at influencer marketing, but I just wanted to share quickly, there's a trend towards virtual influencers. Three more channels, and then we'll move on from this topic. So the other channel that's very important is email marketing. So, email marketing has been around since the early days of the internet. And over the years, what I've seen is brands started doing more social media, brands started doing other things and not giving much attention to emails. But over the past maybe 5 years, more and more companies are coming to us and asking us to do the email marketing for them. Because an email, right? Later we'll cover more about emails. So let's move on. So what makes emails even more powerful is if you add in marketing automation, right? So marketing automation is emails that are automated based on someone's behavior or based on a certain date. So an easy example is if we run an e-commerce store and we have the birthdays of all of our customers, let's say we only have 1,000 customers, but for us to send 1,000 customers happy birthday and to remember when their birthday is and to send them a happy birthday email, that will require a lot of effort. So with marketing automation, you can actually set an automation that says 30 days before this person's birthday, send them a promo code, and then on the day of their birthday, send them a happy birthday message, right? So this is the power of automation, and we will speak a little bit about this later on. Okay, so another channel that is very interesting is something called display advertising. So whenever you go to a website like Channel News Asia, Straits Times, you will see all of these banner ads that appear. Sometimes you go to a YouTube video, you will see a banner ad as well. So these are display ads, and they're very good for building awareness. Okay. I see a question in the chat, Yvonne. Authenticity issue. What do you mean by that, Yvonne? What do you mean by authenticity issue? Oh, you mean the virtual influencer is not real and that's why people will feel that it's not authentic because they use the virtual influencer? Surprisingly, I mean, that's what I initially thought as well, that if a brand is going to use a virtual influencer, it will come across as inauthentic or not real. But surprisingly, looking at the success of these campaigns, right, it seems not to be an issue, like it seems that a younger audience and a lot of people are okay with a virtual influencer promoting a place or a product. Like if you go to Rosie, the South Korean virtual influencer, you will see that she's worked with Singapore Tourism Board. She has worked with the Dubai Tourism Board. She has done a campaign with LV. She's promoting a electric vehicle. And it seems that, I mean, it's only because the brands are seeing a positive outcome from these engagements that they continue to use it, and more bigger brands use it. So I think authenticity issue seems to have already been overcome. Like people have become accepting of these kind of influences. Yeah, that's true. Wing Hong is a good point. I mean, authentic and real person can also promote a lousy product. A very good example of this is one of the sharks from Shark Tank. Recently, he was called out for promoting a lot of scam companies, right? And these scam companies, they would pay him money. He would not bother to check the credibility of the company. He would just do an ad for them, or he would do a shout out for them. So, yeah. Okay, let's look at B2B and B2C marketing very quickly. So this is an important topic to be aware of, that whenever, so B2C marketing, what it is if I'm selling my product or service directly to a consumer. So all of my marketing efforts will be B2C marketing. So for example, earlier I told you about the noodles brand. So the noodles brand, it's a brand called Myojo, and Myojo, I think each packet is like $2.85 or $3 for a packet of 5, right? So they want to get the noodles in front of a consumer. They're selling it directly to the consumer. So they will do B2C marketing. And in B2C marketing, we will be using things like influencers, we'll be doing a lot of social media ads and different strategies that are focused on the consumer. Earlier, I think Karen was talking about how she's targeting SME business owners or HR professionals. So what probably she's doing is B2B marketing, right? She's selling her business. Her business has products or services that she's selling to other businesses, right? So if we look at an example, okay, maybe later I'll come to an example of how B2B marketing looks like. Okay. So when it comes to B2C marketing, you're selling directly to the man on the street. If you're doing B2B marketing, you're selling to professionals, you know, and usually when you sell to professionals, you are not selling to one person, you're selling it to a team. For example, when someone comes to me for marketing services and I give them a proposal and a quote, they will not be the only person making the decision. They will maybe have they will have 3 or 4 people in the decision-making team. So when I'm doing marketing to them, I'm going to be marketing this entire team. When I'm trying to convince them to buy my product or my service, I need to convince this entire team. So what this means is the sales cycle is longer. If I sell you a pack of noodles, you go to NTUC, it's $3, you will buy it very fast. But if I sell you accounting services, which is say 5,000 a year, you will need to think, you will need to talk to your business partner, you will need to look at different options before you buy, right? So the sales process will be a lot longer. Okay. So in B2B, there's a lot of focus on generating leads because nobody will buy a software or a product or a service which is in the thousands of dollars that quickly. So we'll focus on lead, generate the lead, then we'll try and educate them about the product or the service, then we get them to buy. In B2C, the focus is on sales, right? And you will use a lot of emotions and whatnot to actually move the sale. Okay, let me see a question of Wing Hong. Wing Hong, it depends on what your product or service is, right? So if you're selling directly to consumers, then you'll focus on B2C marketing. If you're selling to other businesses, you will focus on B2B marketing. So if you look at my company, right, it's a marketing agency. Other businesses use us for our service, right? So we focus a lot on B2B marketing. We focus a lot on content. We focus a lot on LinkedIn marketing. So the example that I have here for you on the screen, right, is a company called Myovo. It's a local massage chair brand. And they had come for our class, actually. Okay, so Myovo is a local massage chair brand. It's a local wellness brand. They were facing a lot of competition. And one thing they did was they actually came for our SEO course. And in the SEO course, they learned how to structure the website in the right manner, both for consumers and also for search engines. So that when someone was searching for products that are relevant to them as a business, they would find Myovo. And what is interesting is by attending the class, their number of keywords they were ranking for went from about 500 to more than 1,000. And this is because they have come for their SEO course. So let me see another question from Darius. With so many strategies, how do you define what platform and what sort of method works with the brand? Darius, good question. Later on, we'll be looking at digital marketing strategy, and I can share with you some insights there. But what I can share with you here, right, is there are a few steps that we follow. So the first step we look at is something called objectives. So I want to know, what is the objective? What is your objective? Do you want more leads? Do you want sales? Based on the objectives, then I need to do, usually we do an audit of your online presence. We do an audit of your offline presence. We see what are your competitors doing? What are you currently doing? Then we look at your target customer, like who is the customer that you want to reach out to. So based on what channel to go for, right? When we know the target customer, then we'll have an idea of where do they spend a lot of their time? And based on who the target customer is, we can start to think about which channel they'll be on and where can we reach out to them. So we find out our target customer, then we look at the stage of the buyer's journey. What stage are they in? Because if let's say we are targeting them at the awareness stage, then we'll do different channels. If we're targeting them at the purchase stage, we will do different channels and different methods. Then we come up with the strategy. Okay, so these are the 5 steps we will follow, Darius. We will think of the objectives, we will do an audit, we will think of the customer, which stage of the journey we're targeting, then we come up with the strategy. This step number 6 is actually the most important. Once we come up with the strategy and we execute, right, then we can see the results. So later we will, at the end of this, we'll look at analytics. We will see the results and analytics will tell us which channel gave us the best outcome. So then what we will do is, based on what the market has told us, we will tweak our strategy. So what I want to share with Darius and all of you here is that when we come up with a digital marketing strategy or a plan, it is not set in stone. Once you come up with a plan, you execute, then you see the results. And based on the results, you go and tweak it, you iterate again. So a lot of times we're just constantly improving and iterating based on what information is being given to us. I'll give you an example. So a few years ago, we were marketing a HRMS software. So it's a human resource management solution, right? So they wanted us to target 5 countries in Southeast Asia. They gave us a budget of $10,000 per month. Okay. So what countries we were targeting was, we were targeting Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Okay. So these are the 5 markets that we are targeting. So initially the 10,000 budget, right? What we did, Darius, was we put 2K in every market, 2K in Singapore, 2K in Malaysia, 2K in Thailand, 2K in Vietnam, and 2K in the Philippines. Then after 1 month, we looked at how many leads did we get and the quality of our leads. And what we discovered was Singapore and Malaysia, the lead quality was lousy. And in Singapore, it was very expensive to generate a lead. And we saw that in Vietnam and the Philippines, we were getting very good quality leads, very good quality inquiries at very cheap price. So the following month, instead of putting 2K, 2K, 2K equally across all 5 markets, we actually decided to put more budget into Philippines and Vietnam and reduce the budget for Singapore and Malaysia. So what I'm trying to share with you is that you come up with a plan, and then it's after you take action on the plan, right? Then you discover what works. Yeah. Okay. Authenticity of a virtual influencer. This question is going to take a while to answer. So let us get back to this question later, Darius. If you could just save it, right? Let's tackle this one at the end. Authenticity, just to add to what Darius is asking, right? One of the big challenges we've seen over the last 11 years or the last few years of influencer marketing is people were buying followers, right? So what this means is, today, right, I have 500 followers, but I can go to a website, I can pay them money, maybe $100. Suddenly tomorrow I'll have 10,000 followers. So the big challenge used to be that brands would pay money based on the size of the following. And that was a challenge because you don't know whether this person's following is real or not. So one thing that has happened is platforms, influencer platforms now have a way to check how authentic is your following, whether or not your followers are real. And later we will, if we have time, we will talk more about it. This is a question for all of you. There was an article in September that came out in the Straits Times and the Business Times saying that 40% of Singaporeans are using AI at work. So I just wanted to get a quick sense of all of you. How many of you have actually tried AI tools at work for your work to reply to emails? Okay, Jeremy. Anyone else? Vivian, Darius. Okay. So you've all used, what tool did you use, Jeremy, Vivian, and Darius, if you can share? Did you use Bing Chat? Okay, use ChatGPT, fantastic. What about you, Darius? Which one did you use? Wow, Darius, you're an advanced user. You're using Midjourney as well. Later on, I'll cover, for those of you who are not aware of Midjourney, I'll cover a little bit about Midjourney. Okay. So there are different tools that we can use. And later on, we will try and we will take some time to experiment with some of these tools. So the first one that's very popular, that has been all the rage this year is something called ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is very powerful. It can help you create content. So for those of you who haven't tried it, this is the link. You can sign up for a free account using your Gmail, and you can test it out. So what I'm showing you on my screen is one of our students who have come, and she was from a swimming academy. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, ChatGPT, you are a social media content creator for an academy called Singapore Swimming Academy. Give me a social media calendar to excite parents to sign up their kids for our swimming classes. And ChatGPT starts creating it. So it's very powerful. Later on, we will get some hands-on experience. And for those of you who are not able to access ChatGPT for whatever reason, you can try an alternative, which is called bard.google.com. So this is Google's version of an AI generation tool. And I had a client that was from a company called Stewardship Asia. I just keyed in their website, right? I say, hey, what kind of content should this company create? And then Bard started giving me some options. So this is important to know because later on, we will do our exercise and we will use some of these tools. Bing Chat. So for those of you who are using a Windows machine, you will have the Microsoft Edge browser installed, right? So when you use the Microsoft Edge browser, you can access Bing Chat. And in Bing Chat, you can ask it anything. It will give you content and whatnot. You can even ask it to create a picture for you, generate a picture for you, and you will be able to do that. So later on, if we have time, we will look at all of these things. Okay. So very quickly, I'm going to touch on digital advertising platforms. So when we go to any of these platforms like Google Ads allows you to create ads for an outcome that you hope to achieve. So if you look at this screenshot, right? When you start a new campaign, Google will ask you, what do you want? Do you want sales? Do you want leads? Do you want to create more awareness of your product or your brand? Do you want to get more downloads for your app? They have different ads that you can create. So why this is important is I have some clients who only focus on using Google Ads to generate leads. So which means they don't do any SEO. They just want to focus on lead gen. They only focus on getting running ads to get them the leads. So if you don't use Google, there is also Meta. So Meta is essentially the new name for the company that owns a number of things. For our purposes, we will focus on this. So Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. So we want to run an ad on Facebook or Instagram. Again, they will ask you, hey, what do you want? Do you want awareness? Do you want leads? Do you want sales? Do you want to promote your app? What do you want? And based on your campaign objective, it will then tell you what kind of ads you can create. So besides Meta, right, and Google, you also have ads from other companies. So for example, if you go to TikTok, so TikTok has something called TikTok for Business, where you can create ads, again, based on different objectives. So you see here, if you go to TikTok for Business, so you go to TikTok's ad platform, you will see that they have different solutions where when you run an ad, they'll ask you what kind of ad do you want? Do you want an ad for e-commerce? Do you want an ad for to build awareness based on the different things that you are looking for? You can create different kinds of ads. So I shared the link with you. So there's ads on TikTok, there's ads on LinkedIn. Essentially, every platform now allows you to monetize. So it allows you to advertise to reach your target customer. Okay. So the thing about digital advertising and all these different platforms, because it's a very big topic, we actually have a course that is just focused on Google Ads. We have a course that just focused on digital advertising. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely sign up for that. Okay. Next, we're going to be looking at digital marketing strategies, and this will answer the question that Darius asked earlier. So when we look at digital marketing strategies, right, there is this 5-step process, which I will cover in a bit. And there are many different kinds of digital marketing strategies. In my Digital Marketing Essentials course, I cover all 5. But for today's session, we will focus very top level on 3 or 4 of them. Some people like to ask me, say, hey, Razi, there's content marketing. Where does video fall under all of these strategies? So video marketing, usually we tend to park it under content. You can also park it under social, depending on the duration of the video. So if you're creating like long form video, which means 5 minutes or longer on YouTube, then you can park it under your content strategy. If you're looking at social media and you're looking at short form videos, which are like less than a minute for TikTok, for Instagram, then we can consider it to be on social media. But it doesn't really matter what the classification is. What you need to take away from here is there are different digital marketing strategies. For your SEM, it will come under advertising, Jeremy. So there'll be a digital advertising strategy. So we would park it under there. Under digital advertising, you could be looking at leads, you could be looking at awareness, you can be looking at sales. How to advertise under YouTube? You can actually advertise on YouTube in within the Google Ads manager. You can actually create an ad for your YouTube video within this kind of platform. So you can run your YouTube ads on using Google Ads. I mean, Google owns YouTube, so you can run those ads for YouTube using Google's platform. Okay, so moving to digital marketing strategy. So I was telling you that there are 5 steps to digital marketing strategy. So first, we will look at our KPI, right? Do we want leads? Do we want sales? Then we need to look at our customers. Who exactly is our customer? Where do they spend their time? And who is our competitors? And what are our competitors doing? Right? A lot of times we can actually learn from our competitors' strategies and make sure that we can do as well or we do better, right? Then we need to develop a plan. Then we need to implement our plan. And like I was sharing with Darius earlier, once you implement the plan, right, you look at the results. Am I getting the results that I thought my plan will bring me? If it's not, we will optimize and we will evaluate. So maybe sometimes, we might be using, I'll give you my own example. My company, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok as well. So we tried TikTok for a while, and recently we stopped doing TikTok. And that's mainly because when we look at the results we were getting, and we saw that on LinkedIn, we were getting a lot of inquiries. On Instagram, also, we were getting inquiries. But on TikTok, it required a lot of resource, it required a lot of effort, but we were not getting any sort of a business outcome. So we decided to drop it, right? So the point here is that you need to keep evaluating and optimizing it, right? And in terms of marketing objectives, this is a very important step. This is a step that I tell all of my clients, where you need to decide, what are you trying to do? Do you want awareness? Do you want leads? Or do you want sales, right? So these are the 4 broad marketing objectives: brand awareness, interest, lead gen, or sales. And based on what your objective is, you will have different KPIs. So for example, you work with a hotel brand to sell their mooncakes. So the Mooncake Festival just ended recently. So we work with one of the hotel brands and we help them sell out their entire online inventory. So how do they measure our success? Is by looking at the sales. How do we know we are getting sales? By looking at their e-commerce numbers that can be attributed to our advertising. I used to work with an aesthetic clinic, the doctor that would do like your facelift and whatnot. They were looking for leads. And after 1 year of working together, they didn't continue working with us because they feel that we were not getting them enough appointments for their aesthetic doctors, right? So that the point that I want to emphasize here is that in step one of the digital marketing strategy, finding out what your objective is super important. Otherwise, you don't know what you're trying to work towards. Like to address the question earlier, if before I think about what channel to go for, before I go think about what is my strategy, I need to come back and focus on what is my objective. And based on what my objective is, then only will I decide on the channels, then only will I decide on the different strategies, right? To understand your customers, Karen, it depends. If you're a new business, right? A new business, what you will do is you will understand your customer by guessing. You will think, okay, this and this person is going to be the right customer for my business. If you've been in business for a few years, then you already have some data about who your ideal customer is. What bigger brands do, right, is they do focus groups. They'll ask focus groups about different things, and then from there they can decide who would be the right customer for this product or service. Otherwise, we can guess or we look at our history of customers, right? In our classes, we focus a lot on this thing called a customer persona. So in the customer persona, we decide who would be our ideal customer. So if you look at Equinet Academy, right, we have 3 personas that we target. One is called Marketer Margaret. So Marketer Margaret, she is looking to improve her digital marketing knowledge. Then we have Job Seeker John. Job Seeker John is looking for a job as a digital marketer. And then we have Entrepreneur Andre. So we have these 3 different personas who have different goals. So they have different goals, there are different challenges, there are different fears, and they will have different places that they hang out online, right? So based on these 3 job seekers, these 3 personas, or these 3, okay, if you look in sales, right, they'll use this jargon called ICP. So this is your ideal customer profile. Also, you can call them customer, your target customer or your target audience, you know. So what we do is we create customer personas. So what I'm sharing with you guys here is that we have 3 different customer personas for Equinet Academy. And based on these 3 personas, right, we will create our content. We'll think about what does Marketer Margaret want, and then we write that piece of content. We think about what a job seeker, someone who's looking to switch his career from something else to digital marketing, what is he going to be looking for? And we create content for that. If you're a business owner and you want to do digital marketing on yourself, or you've hired a freelancer and you want to make sure that your freelancer is not smoking you, right? You want to come for the course and you want to learn as well. So for each of these 3 personas, we will create different content and different, we will focus on different channels, different strategies. Darius, suggestion on how long to test before iterating. It again depends on businesses. Usually for us, we test 1 month, 1 to 3 months before we can finally figure out the sweet spot. But the thing is, with marketing, right, with digital marketing, because the space is constantly evolving, what used to work previously might not work now. So with the constantly test, I usually say 1 to 3 months is a good period to be testing. Okay, so that was the overview of the digital marketing strategy. So these 5 steps, important to remember when you design a strategy for your business. Then once you go down into specific actions within the strategies, right? So if you go here again, you see the different types of strategies we had. We had these 5 different types. So let's say we want to start with content marketing. So in content marketing, we have these 4 steps, but later I'll explain to you what these 4 steps are, so don't worry about this. Let's watch this video. It's not playing. So that's a video from Google. And what Google has done is when it comes to content marketing, they have suggested that we can design our content around micro moments. So there are 4 micro moments for you to remember. One is I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, and I want to buy. Right? So for these different moments, right, is if I want to know is when someone is doing their research, they are trying to discover something. I want to go is if they're finding, if let's say you're a local business, you're a language center, and people are trying to find their way to go to your physical location, is I want to go moment, right? I want to buy is when they're ready to make a potential purchase. So if you look at the content types that you can create for each of these moments, the one that we focus a lot as Aquinet Academy and for ourselves as a marketing agency, we focus a lot on I want to know. So we create articles, we create interviews, we create videos, we create guides so that our customer, when they are in the I want to know moment, when they Google it, they find us, right? So these are different pieces of content that you can create for different moments. And if you look at Aquinet, you can see we focus a lot on the I want to know micro moment. I want to know. So we have blog posts, infographics, we write ebooks. We even have our YouTube channel where we share some marketer spotlight. So this is an important framework to think about how to create your content. And one tool that you can use is a website called Answer the Public. I'm just going to share it with you here. We won't be looking at it together. I'm sharing it here in the chat. You can check it out later. What Answer the Public does is it tells you what are people in a particular country. So let's say you select Singapore, right? It will tell you what have people been searching for in Singapore in the last 30 days around your particular keyword, around something you've been keyed in. So the example here is Cafe Singapore. So when I put in Cafe Singapore, it tells me what people are searching for in Singapore around the keyword Cafe Singapore. So you see people are searching for cafe for work, cafe for studying, cafe to chill, cafe near the Singapore General Hospital, cafe near Singapore Botanical Gardens, which cafe to go for in Singapore. So based on what people in Singapore have been searching for, I can create content, right? Cafe with Singapore, cafe with a nice view. So if I'm a cafe owner, I can use this information and start creating pieces of content, right? Another place where we can do research, let me just show you. Let's say I was running a Korean language school. Okay, so when I go to Google search and I start keying in Korean language, what Google will do is it will start auto-completing for me. So you see, Korean language school, Korean language learning. So it's telling me different suggestions of the kind of things people are searching for. I can create content based on that. And then if we scroll to the bottom, right, do you see this section? It says people also ask. So you see people are asking how much is a Korean class, how to speak Korean language for beginners. So the more, depending on what you click on, right, Google will tell you what else are people searching for. So you can use this to actually inform your content marketing. And if you go to the bottom, it tells you something called the related searches. So you can see I search for Korean language learning, but in Singapore, people are searching for Learn Korean Language Singapore, Private Korean Classes Singapore. So using just Google search, right, you can find out ideas for your business and what your target audience might be searching for. And of course, because we live in the age of AI, we can actually ask AI on how to do this. So later on, we're going to be trying this. I would like you to try either ChatGPT or Google Bard. So what you see on my screen is I assume that I own a pet grooming business. So I asked Google Bard to give me 5 content ideas for my pet grooming business. So later we'll see how this works. Okay, very quickly, once you create a piece of content, right, you can't just keep it with yourself. You need to deploy it. What this means is you need to share it on, your own. So your own channels is where is your website, your Facebook, your emails. Then you want to share it on platforms like Reddit, for example, where other people are there. You want it to be shared on forums. Then earned is, let's say Karen wrote a really good piece of content around SME business owners. And then suddenly, say Jack Neo went and shared her piece of content. So because her content was so good that Jack Neo shared it without her paying him money, she has in a way she has used an earned channel. Paid channel is what we've discussed today, right? If paid channel would be, I wrote an article, then I want an influencer to share it. I want to, maybe I run some ads to get more people to read my article. Maybe I boost it on Facebook or Instagram. For those of us who have more budget, we can actually approach Mothership directly, or we can approach Channel News Asia directly, and they can create the piece of content for us, and it will come under their brand studio. Okay, let's do the exercise because I've been talking for a while now. So let me just pull this up. So what I'd like you to do is go to this link. So go to this link. Let me show you what this link looks like. So once you go to the link, you can go to Google Bard. So for those of you who don't have a ChatGPT account, you can go to this thing called Bard. Or you can go to ChatGPT. So I've already shared the ChatGPT link here. Okay. So if you go to that first document that I shared, for those of you who don't have Gmail, you can actually download it. So you can just click on File, and you can download the document as a Word document. And for those of you who want to edit this directly on here, what you can do is you click on File, you click Make a Copy. Then once you make a copy, you can start editing it already. Okay. So first thing I want you to do is go either to Google Bard or to ChatGPT and put in this prompt, right? So you can say, write me 5 content headlines for mine, and then you can replace it with your own business. Anyone has any challenge? So I went to bard.com. So for those of you who don't have ChatGPT, you can go to Google Bard. It's free to use. So let me just go in via my Gmail account. Okay. So your prompt is, so I already did it this morning. Your prompt would be, give me 5 content ideas for my croissant business or for my bakery in Singapore, or give me 5 content ideas for my accounting services firm in Singapore. Then look at the ideas that Bard or ChatGPT gives you. Everyone okay? Everyone done it? Karen, did you manage to do it?
Yes.
What did you key in?
What did I key in? Yeah, I follow what you wrote lah. Write me 5 content headlines for my pet grooming business.
Oh, but your business is something to do with SME businesses, right?
Yeah. I follow your example.
What's your business about?
Okay, so basically I work for a not-for-profit organization. I'm not too sure whether you heard of SME Center before. So
Yes.
we
Which
have
SME center do you work for?
ASME. So the thing is that, right, we don't charge the SMEs, right? We don't charge at all because we are funded by government. Then we need to promote 2 things. One is the different government programs. The second thing would be get people to sign up for our public workshops. Yeah. So no cost, to the SMEs at all. Right. So to us, our sales is if is our equivalent of sales is them attending our workshop, sign up and attend. And second thing is that, okay, so after finding out, certain or making inquiries with us, right, when they know of our services, right? Then them getting them to sign up for the different government programs. So the thing is that me personally, I want to move away from creating awareness, because awareness doesn't give us numbers in terms of them signing up for the government programs and them attending our workshops. So I need the numbers, but it's free, no cost. Yeah. So it's a bit special in terms of our the way we operate.
Understood. I would think so probably what you would be asking ChatGPT, right, or Google is asking it for content ideas to bring SME business owners for your upcoming workshop. Then you tell it what is your workshop about. So I'm going to share another prompt. So to follow on from what Karen has shared, and for everybody as well, the second exercise I want you to do is now in that same chat with either Google Bard or with ChatGPT, put in this prompt. And here you have to put in a little bit more effort. So let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. So initially, my first one that I gave you was, give me 5 content ideas for a pet grooming business in Singapore. So one thing to understand about these tools, right, is the more information you give them, the better the quality of the output they will give you, okay? So what I want you to do is follow that prompt that I just pasted in the chat. And here you have to do a bit more effort. So you need to tell the tool, what is your company name? You need to tell the tool, what does your company do? Then you need to tell the tool, who is your target audience? Once you key that in, right, the quality of the content ideas will become very specific to your business or your organization. So I'd like you to try that and see what kind of output you get. So let's try it for Karen. So she can see she's a SME Center at a Association of Small and Medium Enterprises Singapore. What does the SME Center do? You just included your website. How was the output, Jeremy? So if you look at what I'm doing on my screen, right, I'm just trying to fill up that prompt that I gave you for Karen. So a company is SME Center at Association of at ASME. What does SME Center do? I just pasted this. It offers a range of services. Who is her target audience? Her target audience is SME business owners in Singapore. Okay, so let's see what does ChatGPT give us. So it's already giving you ideas. So what I'm sharing with all of you, right, is how you can leverage on AI tools to start thinking about content ideas. So you might be thinking about, what do I want to post on my Instagram? Maybe you're thinking about, what do I write in my email? Maybe you're thinking about, how do I write a post for my LinkedIn? So you can actually speak to these kind of tools and they start giving you ideas. And like I said, the more information you give it, the better the outcome it will give you. So later on, I will show you some of the ways I've been using this. So let's move on, looking at the time. So thank you for sharing, Jeremy. When you say you just included your website, what do you mean, Jeremy? Where do you just include your website? In the prompt?
Yep, in the prompt.
So what specifically
what did I say? Hold on, let me see. I asked write me 5 content headlines for my charity. Then I put dash and then my URL.
Nice. Okay. Okay, thanks for sharing that. So yeah, the more information you give it about the charity, who you're targeting, what your objectives are, what your challenges are, the better the quality of the content ChatGPT or Google Bard will give you. So I want you to keep this exercise. And when we go to social media marketing, we are going to continue with that particular thread. Okay. And for those of you who are lost, don't worry. I will give you a demonstration later at the end of it so that you'll have a full idea of what I was talking about. So we're going to go to our next strategy. Our next strategy is social media marketing. And what I want to emphasize here is, again, looking at Singapore, what you see is that people in Singapore spend about 2 hours each day. So this is the amount of time they're spending daily, right? They spend about 2 hours, 13 minutes every day on social media. Why are Singaporeans on social media? Of course, we want to keep in touch with friends and family, but also to kill our spare time. You know, we want to read news. We want to see what other people are talking about. We want to find content. We want to get inspired for things to buy. And interestingly enough, right, in Singapore, 21% of the internet users say they like watching live streams, right? So these are the reasons why people are on social media. And if you look at social media platforms that are popular in Singapore, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and then TikTok. So you see TikTok is, if you look at the same report from last year, TikTok was a lot lower down. Now TikTok has come up. I think if you look at the same report next year, maybe TikTok will be better or higher than Instagram. Okay. So these are the most popular social media platforms in Singapore. This is an important slide. Why I have this slide is sometimes I have business owners, right? They want to be on every social media platform. But what I wanted to show you here is, if you look at, say, Facebook, let's say TikTok users, TikTok users that are unique to TikTok, which means they only use TikTok and nothing else, 0.1%, right? If let's say my business is doing Instagram, right? Instagram users who also use YouTube, 75%. Instagram users who also use TikTok, 54%. So what I want to share with you here is that there is audience overlap, which means if you don't need to be on every platform, focus on the few platforms that you have the resources. So for example, in your company, maybe you don't have anybody who knows how to make videos or who's good at video editing. Then you don't focus, or who does, maybe nobody in a company wants to be in front of a camera. So you don't do TikTok. You just focus your efforts on something else where you have the resources and the ability to create content on a regular basis. So I'll give you one really good example from Singapore, right? If you go to GIC, if you go to GIC's website, you know, GIC is GIC. I mean, GIC has a lot of money, right? They manage a lot of our reserves, I would say, right? If you go to them, I mean, they have a lot of money. They manage billions and trillions of dollars. You would think that GIC, because they have so much resources and so much money, they will be on every single social media platform. But they're not. So if you go to the bottom, you see GIC, right? GIC is on YouTube, GIC is on Instagram, GIC is on LinkedIn, and they're also on WeChat. But if you go and find GIC on Facebook, you will not find GIC. So what I'm trying to emphasize or inform you here is that you don't need to be on every single social media platform. Focus on what you have the resources, the budget, and the ability to create constant content on. Okay, so one thing you notice here, right? People are turning to TikTok for search. I saw this ad in London last year where there was an ad for TikTok, but instead of promoting fun entertainment, they were saying, oh, if you're looking for DIY hooks, go to TikTok and make the search and find a video on how to do it yourself. So increasingly, people are turning to social media platforms for search. So when you go to Facebook, there's a search bar. You go to LinkedIn, there's a search bar. You go to Instagram, there's a search bar. So what you see here, right? Younger people, right? Those who are 25 to 34, you see, increasingly, they're using social networks instead of a search engine. If you go even younger, right, instead of using search engine, they use social network for their search, right? So what this means is people are searching on social media platforms. They are searching for content. They're searching for information on the social network search bar. So it's very important for us, as people's behavior changes and they use both search and social, the younger audience is using more social. We need to start looking at this trend. So you see more people are turning to social over search. So how do you leverage on this trend? You start doing social media marketing as well. So in social media marketing, right, again, it has a number of steps. So the thing is, most of us think that, oh, we just create this post and then we're done. It's more than that. You need to come up with a strategy. You need to develop a content plan. Then you start putting up the content. Maybe you're trying to be funny. Maybe you're trying to be educational. Maybe your picture is of a certain style. Then you see what works. And then based on what is working, you evolve your strategy. Okay, so the first step is thinking about which platforms to be on for your business. So what is important for you to keep in mind is the audience profile. So if you look at each of these social media platforms, right, they have different audience. So if we see LinkedIn is mainly B2B, mainly professionals. And here the audience is looking to learn and to find opportunities. So like Karen, she's doing all of these workshops for SMEs. So if she was to start posting on LinkedIn, maybe her target customer or her target audience might see it and they might come because they want to learn from her workshop. Then if you look at Facebook, people is mainly B2C and it has a very wide audience. Then if you go to TikTok, it's mainly a young audience. It's the youngest audience profile and it's at the moment very B2C driven. If you go to Instagram, Instagram interestingly has more women than men. And the 71% of the audience is below 35. It's mainly B2C again. So you need to think about, are you B2C, B2B? And you also need to think about what kind of audience is on different platforms. So like for my company, my target audience isn't the TikTok audience. So I focus a lot on LinkedIn and I focus a lot on Instagram and Facebook. Then you need to think about why do people go to TikTok? I go to TikTok not because I want to learn. I go to TikTok because I want to be entertained, right? I want to maybe discover a new restaurant or a new cafe. When I go to YouTube, I actually go to YouTube because I want to learn. You know, I want to watch a documentary. I want to watch a how-to video, right? I go to LinkedIn because I want to connect with all of you, people like you guys who are business owners, who are entrepreneurs, who are marketers. I want to go and connect with you. I want to learn what you are posting so that I can either get new business or I can get new career opportunities. What I'm trying to share with you here is when you do social media marketing, you need to think about who your target audience is. You need to think about which platforms would they be most likely on. And based on which platforms they are on, you need to make sure that your content follows the reason why the goal of the person being there. So if you go to Ministry of Health is now on TikTok. I'm not sure whether you guys have seen, but Ministry of Health Singapore is also on TikTok. And if you look at the TikTok content that they have, right, sometimes they have entertaining content. So I think recently I saw a content about handwriting. So they're saying who has the worst handwriting. So it's a bit of a fun video and an entertaining video. But why is Ministry of Health creating entertaining content? Firstly, because they are on the TikTok platform and they know that people are on TikTok not to just learn about some bite-sized knowledge, but also they're there to be entertained. So you need to keep that in mind when you create your social media content. So once you are aware of who the audience is, which platform you're going after, and why are they on the platform, then you can come up with your social media strategy. Okay, I'm going to share with you, we're going to go back to the exercise, and we're going to look at this. So there's so many people who are creating content on Facebook, right? So many people are creating content on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. How do we ensure that the content that we create is interesting? It captures our target audience, right? So one thing we have here for you, of course, social media marketing in itself is a 2-day course. It is run by Walter, who is Singapore's most sought after social media trainer. These slides, actually, this section on social media marketing is actually from him. So if you want to know more about social media marketing, do go for his 2-day course. So here, right, because so many people are creating content, how do we make sure our content stands out? So one thing that has been very successful on Facebook and LinkedIn is when your first line, right, is very powerful. It stops people from scrolling. It's called a hook. When I read the first line, I'm hooked. Once I'm hooked, right, then you start telling the person a bit more information, and then you finish it off with the call to action. So you see, maybe for Karen's example, she's doing workshops. So a lot of SME business owners are now interested on how to use AI in their marketing. So her hook could be, do you want to use AI to build a 10-man marketing team, or build a 10-man marketing team at a fraction of the cost with AI, for example? Then she can talk about our workshop, and her call to action will be to get someone to sign up for the workshop. Okay. Right. So this is, so you have the hook, then you have the transition copy, then you have a call to action. Always easier to practice. So if you go back to our document, the link that I shared with you earlier, if you scroll down, you will see the exercise for social media marketing. What you can do is you can take this entire prompt, you can paste it either in Google Bard or you can paste it in ChatGPT. So just continue the same thread. So like Jeremy, you were talking about your charity. So you can continue with your charity. So this is the prompt. So you can tell ChatGPT or Google Bard, you say you are an expert social media marketer. I want you to develop a social media post for me. Follow this structure, right? A hook, a transition, describe the product or service, and have a call to action. Then there's a structure, and then you tell ChatGPT to write the Facebook post for mine, and then you key in what business you have lah. So for me, I use that pet grooming example. So if you go back to my Google Bard, right, I put that into the chat, and then I said, write me, you're a social media marketer. This is the post structure. Write the post for my pet grooming business. And this is the post he came up with. He told me what's the hook. He told me the transition. He told me what's the pinpoint. He tells me the product and the services, and then he has a call to action for me. You can do the exact same thing on, so going back to the example that I had for Karen, so I can say, let me paste it. You can say call to action. So write me social media, or you can say write me a Facebook post. Write me a Facebook post for each of the above content ideas. So if you saw earlier, right, ChatGPT gave me some content ideas based on our previous exercise. And then now I'm asking ChatGPT to give me the Facebook posts for each one of the content ideas he gave me earlier. What do you think of this, Karen? Or what you're seeing on the screen? Is it something you can use?
Yeah, let me read. Not bad, not bad.
Right. So with these AI tools, right now, it can really help us. So we can work alongside these tools to help us craft the messages that we want. You know, a lot of us, I mean, including myself, we struggle to write, or we struggle to think of ideas. So when you use these tools, right, they can really help us think of ideas. They can help us create the initial piece, and then afterwards we can copy it, and then we can put in our own flavor, our own style, and we can publish it. So if you go to my LinkedIn, right, let me just show you my LinkedIn. This is not part of the slides, but I think since we're on social media marketing, I want to show you my own LinkedIn. And one thing I've been doing on my LinkedIn is I've been creating content using ChatGPT. So I will show you how that looks like. And then later on, I'll show you the visuals that I've used with Midjourney. Okay, so if you go to my LinkedIn, you will see different posts. And the honest answer here is most of these posts are written by ChatGPT. But what I do, my job is then to come up with the idea. Like, what do I want to talk about, right? Then I ask ChatGPT to create it for me. I think about what is the story that I want to talk about, and I get ChatGPT to write it for me. So, for example, the earlier in my slide, I talk about how 40% of Singaporeans, they use AI, right? So I just copy pasted that article. Then I asked ChatGPT to condense it for me, and then I made a post. So, and then, people interact with it. So yeah, I mean, I'm working alongside, I'm using this to help me create content ideas for my LinkedIn. I'm using it on my own personal profile, and it helps me improve. It helps me like achieve the business objective that I have, which is I want more people looking at my content, and I want people to make inquiries. So this is the doctor I was telling you guys about. This is a dentist who's based in Singapore. This screenshot was from a few months ago. Now he has 3.1 million followers. So if you go to his TikTok content, if you click on his link, right, in TikTok, it actually has his social media profiles, but it also has a link to his website. So which means if I've seen him on TikTok, now I'm looking for a dentist because he's a celebrity dentist now. Maybe I can book an appointment with him by going to his St. Andrews Dental Surgeons. So people use TikTok or they use social media to drive actual patients or to drive actual customers to their clinic. Okay, I'm going to cover SEO a lot quicker because I want to talk more about AI. But if you have questions, just feel free to unmute and ask. So SEO, so earlier we were talking about how when someone searches for the keyword that we want to be found for, right? We want to appear higher on the search results because the customer will not, or our target audience will not scroll all the way to the bottom to find us. So how do we appear higher on search engines? So the key component of SEO is keyword research, making sure that we show up when our target customer searches for that particular keyword or phrase. So we need to do some research. We need to find out what are the keywords our customers would be searching for and what keywords are popular. So I'll show you an example on my screen. What you will see, okay, let's search for a keyword. Let's go back to Facelift Singapore. So I have a tool that I shared earlier called Keyword Surfer. Right? So what you see here is telling me what in Singapore, so this is Singapore flag, is telling me in Singapore what are the similar keywords people are searching for. Facelift in Singapore, facelifting Singapore. So you see 260 searches a month, right? Facelift treatments has 140 searches a month. Plastic surgery before and after, 140 searches a month. So why is this important? Because now it's telling me, look, besides facelift in Singapore, I can also create content around facelift surgery. So let's say braces. Let's say we look at adult braces Singapore. So what is important here is I'm doing keyword research very quickly. So keyword research will tell me what are people in Singapore searching for around my business. And I can also see the volume. Because if let's say the volume is very low, let's say only 10 people are searching, maybe I don't want to create content for those. Maybe I don't want to optimize my website when I only got 10 people, right? If there's more, if there are 90, if there are more than 100, then I need to consider optimizing my website for that. So you see, people are searching for metal braces Singapore, 90 searches a month. People are searching for student braces Singapore price, braces for students Singapore, 320 searches per month for this. So when I think about SEO, I want to optimize my website for a search that has 320 searches. So I will make sure I do the keyword research, find out what are people searching for my kind of a business, find out what the volumes are, and then I can start optimizing my website for that particular keyword. So if you look at the example for Acuinet Academy, you see that we are trying to target digital marketing courses. Why? Because there are 1,000 searches for this keyword in Singapore. Then for digital marketing courses, Singapore, there's 1,600 searches. So what we are doing is we are making sure that we optimize our website for those kind of keywords. next question. Next part of SEO. Okay, let's go back here. So on SEO, another part of SEO, so we looked at keyword. We have looked at how we can optimize our pages for SEO. Another part of it is off-page. So off-page, what does off-page SEO mean? Okay. See, when we launch a website on Google, right, every day there are millions and maybe millions and hundred thousands of websites being launched on a daily basis. How does Google know? Let's say, what is this? Was it Jeremy? Yeah. So let's say Jeremy has his charity website. How does Google know that this charity website is truly doing what it claims to be doing on his website? So the markers of trust for Google is something called a backlink. Okay. So a backlink means another website linking back to your website. So imagine I launched razishah.com and the Straits Times links back to me. Then Google will be like, wow, I trust Straits Times, and Straits Times is linking to this site, which means I can trust this website. If let's say Aquinet Academy links back to me, again, this is a sign that, you know, this website where all these more prominent or renowned or trustworthy websites are linking back to, it's an indicator that this website can be trusted. So what we have done at Aquinet Academy is we have started approaching things like JobStreet. We went to JobStreet and say, hey, can you put a backlink for us? So if you go to JobStreet's website, right, if you click on this course on the Certified Digital Marketing Strategist, it will bring you to Aquinet Academy. If you go to, there are certain directory websites where you can list yourself. So we are on Clutch, we are on Proven Expert, and let me show you one more. We actually got a backlink from My Careers Future. So My Careers Future is linking back to one of our articles. So My Careers Future, being a .gov.sg website, it is very trusted in the eyes of Google. So when we got a backlink from that, it actually improves our SEO. Another one that's very popular, which you can appear in, is a website called Best in Singapore. So Best in Singapore writes articles around different best in, let's say, you see the best chiropractors in Singapore, the best cafes in Singapore, the best accountants in Singapore. So you can go to their website and it will have all of that content. So let's say you go to Movers. So you see they have the top 15 movers in Singapore. So if you click on this article, what you will see is they have Cube Movers. And what Cube Movers now has, it has a backlink from bestinsingapore.co. And that is helping Cube Movers SEO. So what I'm trying to share here with you is when you think about SEO, there is SEO that you can do for yourself, which is keyword research and on-page. And what you need to do in addition to that is you need to do off-page SEO, where you need to reach out to other websites to link back to you. And the only reason why other websites will link back to you is, of course, you create quality content and they're happy to be associated with you, right? Yes, Karen has a good question here. Okay, I see Wing Hong also has a question. How to obtain good customer reviews on Facebook, shopping portals, and Google reviews to help to convert eyeballs into sales? Many different ways to get customer reviews. Of course, in Singapore, right, we only write a review when we are not happy. You know, I think that's the general thing. If it's good, we don't bother. But if you're not happy about it, we go and write a review. What I've seen brands do in Singapore is they will incentivize. So they will they will say, hey, if you write a review, if you're a restaurant, right, they say you write a review, we'll give you a free soup of the day. Sometimes when I buy e-commerce products, right, and they ship it to me, in the box, they will have a small card that say, hey, thank you for your purchase. Please leave us a review. So that's how brands have been doing it. Don't do the unethical way, which is you pay people money to write for you. Google doesn't appreciate that, and that might be bad for you. But I'll say incentivize it, give them something in exchange, and tell them that you want it. For example, a few days ago, I was in KL. I went to eat nasi lemak at this shop called Madam Kwan's. Once I made the payment, right, they had one of the waiters, one of the waitresses, she came to me with a QR code saying, write us a 5-star review on Google. So she made me scan it and write it for her. And of course, I wrote it because I was happy with the food that I had there. So you can be that direct when it comes to asking for customer reviews. Karen's question, many web design companies put backlinks on their customers' website. Does this count? Yes, it does. What the web design companies do, right, at the bottom, they will say powered by 2 Stallions. And when you click on that link, it brings you to the 2 Stallions website. So it counts, and that's why a lot of web design companies like to put their backlink there. How do you create backlinks from other more trusted websites? Yvonne, excellent question. It's something that we address in our SEO course. But to answer you very quickly, to get backlinks from other more trusted websites is you need to ask. So if you see here, right, the reason why we were able to get a backlink from My Careers Future is we did a manual outreach, which means we sent an email to somebody in the team saying that, hey, you are writing about this topic. We have an excellent article about the same topic. Can you link it to us? So you have to ask to get a trusted backlink. Another way is you can pay money. So like bestsinsingapore.co and a few, I think Finest Singapore, all of these guys, they will take money to write content about you. And the other way is you can actually pay money to some websites to put a backlink for you. So when you pay money, right, paid backlink, they usually charge anything from like $50 to even $250 for a backlink. So there's how ways you can different ways you can create backlinks, Yvonne. Okay, we're going to be looking at the last strategy, and then we'll move on to AI. The last strategy we're going to be looking at is email marketing. I think all of us are very familiar with emails. Why emails are important? When you make a social media post, let's say I made a social media post now, and I'm friends with Yvonne. But because Yvonne is in this class, she will not have a chance to go to Facebook and scroll through. By the time Yvonne finishes this class at 5 and she goes to Facebook, my post will get pushed down because other people are posting. So she will not see my post. But if I were to send Yvonne an email, even though she's in the class now at 4, later on when she goes to her inbox, she will see that Razi has sent her an email. And when she receives an email, and when all of us receive an email in our inbox, we can do one of 3 things, right? We have to read it, right? We need to take an action, essentially. We either need to read it, we need to reply to it, we need to delete it, or we need to archive it, or we need to mark it as spam. If we don't take any action, it will forever sit in our inbox. So that's what we need to keep in mind. And emails have been proven to be very effective. In fact, if you look at what is the #1 source of ROI in marketing, they always put email marketing as #1. So email marketing, for every $1 that you spend, studies have shown that it gives you back $38. And the second best digital marketing is SEO. Every $1 you spend on SEO, the average is you get back $22 in terms of ROI. So email marketing has become increasingly important over the years. And even for email marketing, you need to have a plan. You need to think about who are you sending the email to? Why are you sending the email? What objective do you hope to achieve out of that email, right? And when it comes to emails, for my own company, I send an email once a month. So if you're a charity, you run a charity, you should send an email at least once a month, just to give people an update of what's going on. So you'd be surprised. For my company, I was sending someone an email. 5 years later, he became a customer. So I asked him, hey, how did you get to know about us? He says, oh, I've been reading your newsletters over the past few years. And then because you wrote about this topic, I thought we need that particular solution or service, and that's why I engage you guys. So it took us 5 years of relationship building via emails before that person decided to work with us. So in terms of email marketing, right, there are many different things you can do. You can write welcome emails, you can write promotional emails, you can write goodbye emails. There's a whole list of different emails that you can send, which I'll leave you to read on your own. I will go straight to something that I think is very important. Okay, so this is an example of my company's newsletter. Every month, we send a newsletter which talks about an expert series that we have done. We have written an article about digital maturity model, so we have posted it there. And when we think of emails, right, there are 2 lists that you need to think about. One is your prospect list. Prospect list is somebody who is interested in your content, who has given you the email address, but he has not become a customer. So that's your prospect. And another list that we have is our customer list. This person is somebody who has bought from us before. So what we want to do in the prospect list, right? So both these lists will have a different objective. Prospect list, what do you want? We want to make this person become our customer. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be giving him emails that will build trust, that will show that we are credible, so that eventually he moves from prospect, he moves to customer. In the customer list, what we are doing is we are trying to maintain the relationship so that the customer still stays in touch with us, so that maybe in future he might refer us to other customers, or he might buy from us again. So these are the two lists that we need to keep in mind. And how do we build a list? This is a question a lot of people ask, right? Let's say I start a business today. My only people in my email list will be my friends and family. How do I get more people to be in my email list? So at Equinet, we have a few different ways. We have a lot of ebooks. So whenever someone downloads our ebook, they give us their name and email address. They have now entered our prospect list. When someone sees an ad and they click on learn more and they give us again their name, email address, and their phone number, they enter our list. Interesting fun fact for you guys. I actually met someone in my reservist a few years back, and I asked him what does he do for a living. He told me he sends emails for a living. I was like, what? What do you mean by that? This is before I started running this email marketing course. So he was telling me that he has 180,000 subscribers. Okay. So brands who have a product will approach him and ask him to send an email out to all of his subscribers. And whenever they buy, he gets a cut from that particular email, from that particular purchase. And the guy lives a very fabulous life, and his entire business is built around emails. So imagine, right? He's been doing it for, I think, 15 years. So he's built an entire business around sending emails, and it still works till today. So emails and the size of the email list is something that you should take it seriously. Even for my company, we only started our newsletter 5 years. So we had a business, we started in 2012. We started our newsletter in 2016. And I wish I started earlier, because then I could have built relationship with my customers. I could have nurtured my prospects so that they become my customer easier. Quicker and more likely that they'll become my customer over time. So emails are important. And again, okay, so a few different questions coming in. So Joanne, in terms of emails, right, so my company, we use ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign is probably one of the better tools. Initially, when I first started out, I was using something called MailChimp. And then I switched to something called Kiap, which used to be known as Infusionsoft. And right now, for our clients and for ourselves, we use ActiveCampaign because it has emails, it has marketing automation, and it also has a sales CRM. Okay. Why not HubSpot? Because HubSpot is expensive, Karen. They have a free version, but after a certain number of subscribers, you need to pay, and it can get quite expensive. So that's why we don't use HubSpot. But our clients use HubSpot. So bigger enterprise clients use HubSpot, and even larger clients, they use something called Marketo. So depending on the budget that you have, your requirements, you can use any one of these. So for me, I recommend either ActiveCampaign, or you can use MailChimp. They all have automation. But if you want a CRM, if you want a sales CRM, I recommend you use ActiveCampaign. And later on, if we have time, I will show you my own ActiveCampaign and how I do automation. Okay, so look, we have about half an hour before we start on our quiz. So I just want to run you through some thoughts around AI in marketing. So far, right, we have looked at what is digital marketing. We have looked at B2B, B2C marketing. We have looked at the different channels like your website, your SEO, SEM, social media. We have looked at strategy. We have looked at social media content. We have looked at, what else have we looked at? Emails. Now, what we have as marketers living in the age of AI is we have AI tools that we can use to make us better in our marketing. So I'll leave you to read these few articles that I had put in there. You have access to the slides. I shared the link earlier. I'll share the link to the slides again later. I'll leave you to read all of these. So some things that I have included for those of you who might be e-commerce owners or you're interested in e-commerce, some of the big challenges that my clients have encountered or my friends have encountered when they start an e-commerce brand, right, is how can I write a description for my product? So imagine, right, you are Scoop and you're selling this particular product, which is the face moisturizer rose gel, okay? And I say, okay, Karen or Lincoln, can you write for me a description about this? It will take a lot of time. You'll be like, wow, what to write? I don't know what to write. So now with ChatGPT, you see, you can say, write me a product description for my hand cream. I will use it for my e-commerce website. Of course, it will give you some general information, which you can already use. But if you give it more information, you tell it what's the price, you tell it what's the ingredients inside, and whatnot, and then where is it made, it will write for you an even better description. Next thing, same product. If I have this product, I want to do a photo shoot. I want to put this product in a beach or against a waterfall. In the past, to do this, I would need to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get these kind of shots done. But now with AI, right, I can actually just use the AI, put in a picture of this product with no background, and I'll tell the AI what I want, and the AI will create it for me. So the link to this tool, in case you are interested, let me share it with you. So this is actually a Singapore company that does it. It's called Pebbly. You can go and check it out. So it will create this kind of visuals for you. So you can actually put in your blank background, and then you will create for you this visual. Interesting question, Yvonne. It's not free, but I'll tell you what is coming to put this business into trouble is something called Product Studio. So it's still not launched yet, but Google is going to launch this free service called Google Product Service Studio. So just for everyone's benefit. So I showed you Pebbly, right? Pebbly can do this. Google is launching something called Product Studio. For free, you can upload a picture of your product with no background. Then you put in a prompt of what you want, and then it will create for you. Okay, so this is coming soon, probably Q1 of next year. So then, yeah, Yvonne, if you want a free service, this one Google Product Studio will do it for you for free. But at the moment, if you use Pebbly, Pebbly will charge you $40 a month. The other thing is, for those of us who run fashion e-commerce, we need a model to wear our clothes, right? To wear our jackets, our tops, our dresses. And again, we need to engage the model. We need to find a good place. We need to make sure it's not raining on that day. We need to find a place where she can change the costumes multiple times. Then we need the photographer to take it, edit it, and whatnot. But now with AI, it can do it for you. You can just upload the picture, and then the model will wear it for you. And this is being done by a AI tool called Booth.ai. But the one that I shared with you earlier, Pebbly does it as well. So they recently launched, I think 2 weeks back, they launched a new feature where instead of it just being products, you also have fashion photography. Yeah, so I'm going to share this with you. So if you go to fashion.pebbly, right? Look at this. You can now get AI to wear your clothes for you, and it all looks fabulous, right? Does it not look real? What do you think, guys? Does it look real? Like all these people who are wearing the clothes. Do you think it looks real, or do you think it looks fake? Like, it looks very real, right? So you specify the kind of model you want, the hair color, whether they're Asian, they are Caucasian, where they're standing, where and whatnot. And yeah, and it's the power of AI. And as marketers, future marketers, these are the tools that we need to be aware of, and these are the tools that we should try and use. Okay, Beverly, what are the better free AI image tools I've used? Actually, none of the free AI ones are not so good lah. Removing background, Google has a tool that can remove the background for you. But otherwise, I use a lot of Midjourney. Midjourney has been an effective tool for me. Okay, one more tool is one that I find quite dangerous. It's called, there's a few. So for example, right now I'm doing this training for you guys. It's me speaking to you in person and live, right? But what I can do in future is I can record myself delivering, say, 2 minutes of the course. Then I can plug in my script for the course if I have a script, and it will create a video like this for me. If you see my screen, right? So these are AI tools which create videos for you, talking head videos. Yeah. So these are talking head videos. So I could actually record, like I said, 1 minute of myself, 2 minutes of myself. So you'll mimic my face, my voice, and yeah. So I can create training videos. So for those of you who are onboarding new employees, you are training your staff, and you keep finding yourself saying the same thing over and over again, you can use this kind of tools to create onboarding videos and whatnot. Okay. Interesting question from Abigail. Once you upload your product on AI, will it be free for public recreation after that? I believe so. Right now there is a lawsuit that's happening between can't remember which two companies, but essentially that company used our Facebook photos, our Instagram photos to actually train their AI model to then create images using tools like Midjourney and whatnot. So because they needed a lot of visuals with captions so that they could train their model to create those visual outputs for us, and that's what's happening. So once you upload your product on AI, well, it'll be free for public recreation. But the thing is, because the product is yours, let's say this product is yours, I mean, ultimately, maybe the picture itself, the copyright won't belong to you, but the product is yours. So I think people will still not really use it for commercial purposes. But again, the implications of all of these things, we are only becoming aware as things go along. Few more slides, and then we go into our recap and into our one last exercise, actually. Why is this important? And why have I included this in our course is because if you see this article from earlier in the year, Coca-Cola is using ChatGPT and OpenAI for its marketing efforts. OpenAI actually released a version of ChatGPT for big businesses, right? So increasingly, it's important for us to be familiar with these tools so that when we use it in our jobs or in our future businesses or in our current businesses, we know how to really benefit from this age of AI that we're living in. So what I've shown you is Coca-Cola is using it, Domino's is using it. Recently, we followed the news, right? Jamie Yeo did something with Hugo Safe where they recorded her face, her movements, her voice, and now using all of the recordings, right? They can create multiple ads with Jamie Yeo where she doesn't need to come to a studio anymore and shoot again. You know what I mean? So they can put her in a beach, they can put her in a cave, they can change her attires, and they don't need to keep getting Jamie Yeo to come in person for the shoot. They just use whatever they've created and they use AI to recreate that. So that's how powerful the technology has become. Of course, for us as marketers, as SME owners, we don't need to go to such an advanced stage. We just need to, we can use these free tools, our content writing for our image generation. Okay. So then some people will say, hey, Razi, the examples you showed me, I need to have good English and I need to know how to prompt. I have a tool to solve that problem. There's an app called Oasis, where what you do, right, is you take the thing and you just record your voice. You say, oh, today I attended a class with Razi, I learned this. And then once you record, right, you tell it what you want. Do you want a LinkedIn post? Do you want a TikTok script? Do you want an article? Do you want an email? So based on your recording, and you can say a lot of and whatnot, it will actually edit all of that out and write you a very good post. So why I'm showing you this, for those of you who say you don't know what to write or don't know how to prompt, you can just stop. talk how you talk, and then the AI will take care of things for you. Okay, quick question. Which one do you think is fake? Put your choice, number 1 or number 2, in the chat. Let's connect. Both. Okay. Both are fake. Okay. Vivian says both are fake. Okay. So for those of you who are saying number 1, right? So you think number 2 is real, right? Yeah, I have bad news for you guys. Both are fake. Yes, both are fake. And these were created. I'll show you one more. Okay, Lincoln. All the best. We will connect separately. Okay, then another visual is this one. Look at this. All of them are fake actually. So I'll skip this. So what has happened is, with the powerful content tools that we have, we also now have equally powerful generative AI tools for creatives. So 3 that I want you to keep in mind, this is important for your quiz, is DALL-E 3, Midjourney, and Leonardo AI. I'll show you some visuals that I created using Midjourney. So what I told Midjourney is, you see, I want food photography, berries being dropped into a bowl of milk, and splashes from the impact. And this is the kind of visual it creates. I wanted to use a picture for a runner, and I gave it a prompt: runners at a marathon with one Asian runner leading, Dutch angle with this camera. This is the visual that I got. Does she not look real? Some people I shared this picture with, right? They say, well, this lady looks just like Joanne Pay. Right? But look at the face. I mean, she has got these blemishes around her cheeks. She has got all these wrinkle, laugh lines and whatnot. She looks super real. Then I said, okay, I want the same thing, but then I want a guy. Right? So then they gave me this. Looks real, right? Doesn't this guy look super real? Okay. So for those of you who are using, looks like an MP, yeah, looks like Bae Yam King, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, it looks like him. And then people were saying that this one looks like Joanne Pay, which I agreed lah. Okay, so now what I want you to do is go back to that exercise we were doing earlier. Yeah, let me close some of these. So this is only possible. Oh shit! Sorry, let me reopen this. This is only possible if you're using ChatGPT or Bing Chat. Okay, so let me switch on my Bing Chat. Okay, so for those of you who are using ChatGPT, right? In that same thread, you can tell. So for Karen's example, so we had this social media post that ChatGPT had given us. So you say, give me an image to use for social media posts. So you see on my screen, right? You can see ChatGPT is already creating an image. And what ChatGPT is using is the AI tool called DALL-E 3. It's also by OpenAI. And DALL-E 3 is actually free to use. Even ChatGPT is free to use, actually. So if you're on ChatGPT, you can actually type this in, give me an image, and it will start creating it for you. Right, so they have this visual. I don't really like this visual, so I can give you some different options. So let me give you the example for pet grooming that I had earlier, and then you can see how it works. So I said, generate a picture to accompany my social media post for my pet grooming business. So then it gave me this guy with a lot of golden retrievers around him, right? Then I said, can you change the groomer to be an Asian female? So now they gave me Asian lady. Let me zoom in a little for those of you who can't really see. So then they gave me an Asian lady and again a lot of golden retrievers. Then I said, can you make it look realistic and reduce the number of dogs in the background? So then he gave me again Asian lady, golden retriever, then all these dogs just sitting there doing nothing. Right? Then I said, can we have a closer shot? Right? I don't want so many things in the background. So then he gave me a tighter shot. See, golden retriever, lady looking at it. See, this is focusing solely on the groomer and the golden retriever in the pet grooming salon. Then I said, I don't like the dog. Can we change the dog to a Shih Tzu? And then now I redid it again, lady with a different kind of a dog. So what I'm trying to show you here is with these tools, right, you are able to keep telling it and improving it until you get what you want. Interesting. Let me see. Okay. So Vivian, I think you encountered the challenge. So right now, DALL-E, which is the image generation, is only available for ChatGPT 4, which is the paid ChatGPT. Can you okay. Alternatively, you can use this. You can use Microsoft, right? Microsoft has the browser. If you're using a Windows machine, Microsoft has a browser called Microsoft Edge. And what it has is it has access to Bing Chat. So in Bing Chat is the image generation is powered by DALL-E, which is the same tool that powers ChatGPT. So let's look at what kind of picture it creates for me. Okay, so I can go to the Bing Chat and I can say generate a picture to accompany my social media posts for my pet grooming business. Yes. So Joanne, you had the same challenge as Vivian. So ChatGPT 4 is using DALL-E 3. Because Microsoft owns Bing and Microsoft also owns OpenAI. OpenAI is a company that created DALL-E 3. So you can go to the Bing Chat. You have to use the Microsoft Edge browser and you can actually start so then you can get access to this, Joanne and Vivian. So you can actually you can use this for free, so you don't need to pay any money. So you see what I'm doing now is I'm using Bing Chat and I'm asking Bing Chat to generate a visual for me. Let's see what comes up. Looks like I crashed it. But generally it works. It works well actually. Maybe you just give it a bit more time, and we'll come back to what it has created later. Okay. Okay, so for those of you who encountered the challenge because you're using ChatGPT 3.5, go and try it on Bing, and you will see the visual outcome there. And if you go to LinkedIn now, right, a lot of people who create their LinkedIn posts, they are using ChatGPT, the paid version, to create it. And okay, sorry. Yvonne, for Bing Chat, right, you will need to use the Microsoft Edge browser. Yeah, so this is the link for Bing Chat. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from that. Okay, I was going to show you this. So you see a lot of people are using this. So one thing about these tools is, if let's say I'm a web designer, I can actually go to Midjourney and I can search for automotive UI UX. It will give me examples of mood boards that people have created for, say, mobile apps and for websites. So it gives me a very good starting point. Another thing you could do is, let's say you are trying to launch a new chocolate brand and you're looking for a mood board. So you can go to Midjourney and you can say, I'm looking for a mood board chocolate. It will give you some ideas. So we're using this for inspiration and ideation. So a friend of mine who runs a branding and creative agency, he was telling me that this is how his company is using it. And in the past, they used to take many, many weeks. They'll take 2 weeks to create 3 mood boards. Now they can do it in just a week. They can create like 30 different options for their clients. So this is how AI has made things a lot more quicker for companies. And I wanted you to also take a look at this very interesting report. So Accenture launched this report called the Life Trends 2023 report. We don't have time to look through it together, but what I'd like you to take a look at is, sorry, let me see what's going on here. Okay, the image is being generated. Then we go back to the Life Trends report, and then we can go into our quiz, and then you can ask me more questions. So this is the free version of Bing Chat. Okay, look at this. Not bad, right? I think the images are not too bad. Look at what, so you see here, it says it is powered, maybe it's too small. Can you guys see? It says powered by DALL-E 3. So just now, Yvonne and Vivian, right? And Joanne, sorry, Vivian and Joanne, you guys were having some trouble with ChatGPT. The same thing that powers ChatGPT powers Bing Chat. So you can use it for free. So you see, I gave it a prompt. I said, create a realistic image of an Asian female pet groomer grooming a Groenland retriever. So it gave me all these different options. So now if I think it's good, I can download it, right? And then it's telling me that if I'm going to share it, I need to share that it's been generated with AI, right? I think it's not too bad. I mean, the thing is for small business owners, right, where we don't have the budget, we cannot afford to get a photographer to come and take a shot all the time. Using these kind of tools can really make things a lot quicker and better for us, right? So this is some visuals that you can use, all via Bing Chat and DALL-E 3. So coming back to the Accenture report, right? One thing they have done is they launched something called the Live report. Okay, copyright for this usage. Vivian, interesting question. So a lot of people have asked me about this copyright. So if you go to OpenAI's website, and if you go to their let me just go to search DALL-E 3, who owns copyright. So they actually have an FAQ. And what DALL-E 3 and OpenAI says is that you own the images you create, including the right to reprint, sell, and merchandise. So whether you created the image using DALL-E 3 free version or DALL-E 3 paid version, right? So if you go to their website, let me give you the link from their site. So this is what they are saying. So you see, this is from OpenAI's thing. I mean, I haven't gone to read further, but very briefly, you see, it says you own the images you create, including the right to reprint, sell, and merchandise. But if you use Midjourney, the moment I generate the image, right, anyone and everyone can use it. So it's not I have the right for commercial use. I'm not sure whether this is the I have to sign, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to just show you some visuals that I created using these tools. So you see this guy doesn't exist. He was created via Midjourney. I'll show you one more. Okay, I'll show you one of the more recent ones. If you look at this visual looks like me. So what I had done was I used a prompt a bit more advanced. I said, heavy Indian man, cinematic lighting, soaked in the rain, London, camera, depth of field, daytime, and then I put in all of these variables. Then what I did then was I did a face swap. So I took my picture and I swapped it with the face of the AI person. And that's why I end up looking a bit like me. So what I'm sharing with you here is that how powerful these tools are and how I am practicing using these tools. Why is this important? Is how to become good, right? You have to actually start experimenting with these tools, start using these tools, and only when you use it, you become really good at it. Because somebody was telling, I think today I saw a post on Facebook, and someone shared that you cannot learn how to swim by watching hours and hours of content on swimming. You cannot learn how to trade by just watching videos and videos of trading. They say you have to actually do the thing yourself. Only then will you learn. So similarly to this, if you want to become good with marketing using AI, you have to use some of these tools that I've shared with you today. Abigail, good question. I've seen everyone use these images generated by DALL-E 3 via Bing search. Nobody has been giving it credit. Nobody gives the credit. So I think you'll be safe to use it without saying that it's generated by AI. But usually for me, I like to state that it's generated by AI, and I actually tell people what is the prompt that I use so that they can they become aware. But you don't need to, and I don't see people doing it. Actually, what you will see, right, is if you start using these tools more often, you can actually tell what image was generated using which tool. So you can tell, oh, this is a Midjourney image. This is generated with DALL-E 3. And I see a lot of businesses using those generated images to create ads, to create the banner images for their ads without giving credit. And I think it seems to be perfectly acceptable, especially with DALL-E 3 when they say that you can use it. So you don't need to give the attribute, but for Midjourney, you will need to say that it's generated by Midjourney because it goes into the public domain. Last quick section was around digital marketing analytics. This is an interesting topic. Earlier, I think Darius was asking like, okay, I come up with a digital marketing strategy. I pick my channels. How do I know if my strategy is working, or how do I know when to iterate? Analytics will give you the answer. It gives you all the insights so that you can use it to better allocate your marketing resource, for you to better allocate your budget as well. So some things that we track on websites, we track how many users do we have coming to our website. So in Equinet, we track the number of users, the number of new users. We also track something called a conversion. So conversion, right? When someone comes to our website, we want them to take an action. Maybe we want them to buy from us. Maybe we want them to sign up for our newsletter and become our email subscriber. Maybe you want them to submit an inquiry form. Maybe you want them to submit a quote form, right? They want them to ask for a quote. All of these, if the action is taken, it's a conversion. So a conversion is when our website visitor takes the action that we want them to take. So how do we know all of these numbers? We go into an analytics tool, and the free one that we recommend everybody to have for their website is Google Analytics. So when you go into Google Analytics, this is what you will see. They have different reports. So there's acquisition, engagement, there's monetization and whatnot. What we are very interested in, at least for this particular course, is we look at acquisition. We want to know, how are people coming to our website? Are they coming from our social media? Are they coming from our paid search? Are they coming directly, which means they knew EquinetAcademy.com and they came directly to us. So when you go into Google Analytics, you will get all of this information. So you can see, this is the dummy one. This is not Equinet, but for the dummy one, you can see that direct was the biggest source of internet use of visitors to their website. So 37,000 people visited the website directly, which means they keyed in www.EquinetAcademy.com. Then you see fifth most popular is paid search. Third most popular is organic. Then comes organic social. So when we look at analytics reports, it will tell us how are people coming to our website, how much time are they spending on the website. If they came via SEO, did they convert, which means did they fill up the form or did they submit an inquiry? If they came via SEM, did they convert, did they fill up the form, did they submit an inquiry, right? So you can see all of this kind of breakdown. And again, this particular course on digital marketing analytics. It is a 2-day course that we have at Aquinet Academy. Okay, that brings me to the end of this. We still have a quiz. Once you've done the quiz, you will get your certificate as well. But before I go to the quiz, anyone has any questions? Okay. If you have questions, you can type in the chat. Okay. So, I mean, in these 3 hours, I mean, this 2 hours plus, I've tried to cover quite a fair bit of things. All of this was an overview, was an introduction course. Okay, I see a question from Wing Hong. If one is able to write scripts, can produce video, but don't have a good voice, is there a tool to provide a good voice? Of course. There are tools that can get you to speak in any kind of language, Wing Hong. So I was using this tool called Captions. It's Captions is only available on iOS. So if you go to Captions, right, you can record yourself, and then you can choose the kind of voice you want. You can even speak in Mandarin, speak in Malay, speak in 122 different languages. So yes, you have something that can provide you a good voice. Okay, so I was sharing here. So today I've tried to give you an overview of digital marketing. So we've looked at what is digital marketing. We've looked at what's B2B, B2C marketing. We have looked at a few different strategies we can use. We've also tried a little bit of hands-on on some of the tools that are available out there from written tools like Google Bard, ChatGPT, Bing Chat. We have looked at image tools like Midjourney, DALL-E 3. We have also looked at, we talked about Leonardo. I just mentioned them very briefly. It's another image generation tool that we can use. So in terms of what's next for your marketing journey, you can sign up for each one of these courses individually. So we have the Essentials course, which is run by me. It's a 1-day, full-day course where we go into some of these things in a lot more detail. Then you can look at advertising. You can go for Walter's social media course. We have an entire course on content marketing, how to write articles, how to create those video content, how to come up with the scripts. Then we have another 2-day course on SEO. We have a 2-day course on email marketing, which is run by me. And of course, the course that is very popular now actually is digital marketing analytics. A lot of companies, a lot of brands want to know how can they leverage on analytics, how can they understand their data, and we have a lot of interest in digital marketing analytics. But overall, if you do all of these 7 modules, you become a certified digital marketing strategist. So some students like to ask me, they say, hey, do I need to attend all of these in sequence? You can, but some students also attend it based on what they're interested in. So maybe they want to do digital content marketing first for their job. So they'll come for this, and then they'll come for some other ones later. But if you complete all of this, you'll get that certificate on being a certified digital marketing strategist. So this company, right, Beverly, the company that creates these reports, they are actually based in Singapore. And every quarter, the guy who runs it, he actually does a session where he brings you through the report. Very interesting, very entertaining session. But coming back to your question on overlap. So what I was trying to share here is not to focus on what has the greatest overlap. What I was trying to say was, sometimes when I meet SME business owners or when I meet businesses, they want to be on every single platform, right? And then if they're not on, say, TikTok, they start feeling FOMO and they want to be on TikTok. But what I was trying to show you here is that if you're already on, say, Facebook, then you can see people who are using TikTok. 82.5% of Facebook users are also using TikTok, so you don't really need to. So Facebook users also using TikTok is 52%. Facebook users also using Instagram is 77%. Also using YouTube 72%. So the idea here is you don't need to be on everything. There is audience overlap. So you pick those where you have the resources like manpower and budget, and also the ability. So like, for example, in my company, we don't have the ability to create TikTok videos, so we don't focus on TikTok. And because there is an audience overlap, since we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we know that the Instagram people who are following us, 54% of them are also using TikTok. So we don't need to worry that we're missing out on a very big audience.